What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. You guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely going to want to check this one out. It looks like Hakeem Jeffries is finally ready to give in, instructing House Democrats to vote to reopen the federal government after realizing that his party is on the brink of total collapse and all of his voter base is turning against him, guys. And I'm excited to get into this one, so we're gonna hop straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, let's hop straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
This morning, more than 40 million people, that's roughly 1 in every 8 Americans, are bracing to see their food assistance run out later this week, creating a food crisis some experts say could be the worst since the Great Depression, all because of the government shutdown. The U.S. Agriculture Department, which administers the SNAP or Food Snap program, announcing, quote, the well has run dry.
Everyone's worried that, they're not going to be able to feed their families.
All right, folks, and that right there is the harsh reality of what some Americans across our nation are being faced with. And this is all a direct result of Democratic selfishness and continuously holding our federal government hostage. And I know a lot of folks at home right now are wondering what leader Hakeem Jeffries is up to. Is he working to help his constituents, working to help his fellow Democrats? Well, I got the answer for you right here. Hakeem Jeffries is busy getting embarrassed, absolutely humiliated on CNBC, unable to explain why his party didn't get these things done while they were in power. I want you guys to take a look at this.
It said what you are asking the Republicans to do right now when they control the White House, the Senate, and the House is effectively what the Democrats could not do when they controlled all three of those heads of government themselves. The 10-year setup for this, for these, or the 3-year setup for the expiration of these credits was intentionally put in. It was put in when you controlled the White House, the House, and the Senate. You couldn't get it passed for longer. And so this is a setup that kind of your own creation that you all couldn't extend beyond that. Now you want the Republicans to do something you didn't do when you were in power?
It's not a setup beyond what we could do. We extended the Affordable Care Act tax credits in 2022 for 3 years. The program is working. It's providing health care to tens of millions of people in an affordable way, and it should be continued. It's interesting to us that Republicans decided that they would prefer to permanently extend massive tax breaks for their billionaire donors in their one big ugly bill.
Once again, we can see the leader for the Dems, Hakeem Jeffries, is absolutely useless. He's programmed to do nothing but lie, gaslight, and blame shift over to President Donald Trump and the Republicans. And it's very clear to see it all. We got Speaker Mike Johnson calling it straight down the middle and giving us the plain, the simple, the real on what's really happening behind closed doors with this whole Schumer sombrero shutdown. I want you guys to take a look.
There's also been reports, Mr. Speaker, that Leader Schumer would like to have almost a backroom negotiation. Maybe it would involve President Trump. Maybe it would involve a majority leader soon. Maybe you as well. To just get a couple of things out, not the whole 1.5 trillion, all the things that you outlined, but maybe just the Obamacare enhanced subsidies. Can you confirm that has been something that Senator Schumer?
Yeah, I can confirm it. He said it publicly, breathlessly. He's complained that 4 leaders won't go in a back room, smoke-filled room, and make a deal. That's not how this works. I don't operate that way. When I became Speaker, I vowed to my colleagues that we would return to regular order. I would decentralize the Speaker's office, and it would not be a top-down, hoisted upon the membership kind of program anymore. This is a member-driven, consensus-driven operation. That's how the founders intended it to work. They did not want 4 people to go in a back room and make a deal. By the way, I couldn't do that on something as complicated as extension of Obamacare COVID subsidies because we have to find the consensus. There's 100 different ideas on how to improve that, and we needed the time in October and November to work through that with all the members. I refuse to go in a back room with Chuck Schumer and make a deal. I don't operate that way. It's not good for the people. It's not good for financial stewardship. And it's part of the reason we're $37 trillion in debt as a nation, because you have 2 or 3 or 4 people in a back room doing that. We're not operating that way. That's Chuck Schumer's old way. We need this to work for the people again. And that's what I'm insistent upon. And I'll keep telling them that publicly and privately.
And again, we can see what Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are actually after. They want to make this shady deal in some back room to continue funding their crazy international projects, their pet projects, and somehow funneling all that money back into lining their pockets is not going to happen. That's exactly why we voted for Trump and his administration, because they're killing it. They're being transparent with America. Everyone's seeing exactly what's happening. The fingers can't be pointed over to President Trump and the Republicans, because we can see the numbers don't lie. We need the Democratic Party to vote yes on funding our federal government for anything to actually happen. And I think President Donald Trump explains it right here pretty good, where he further explains how simple this situation is on the Democrats continuing to hold our federal government hostage with their very egregious demands.
After this trip, do you think you'll sit down with Hakeem, Jeffries, and
I would. I'd be willing to. I would have now, too. You know, I left. I said, come on over, just put the government back. All they have to do is say yes, and it's over. And we start. And then we go into a negotiation. Look, Obamacare has been terrible. We can make it better. I'm all for that. But they're not. And they want to allow many illegal people that came into our country illegally from prisons, from mental institutions, from all over the world. They want them to get paid, and that's going to hurt the citizens of our country, and I just can't do it.
You and I and everyone with half of a functioning brain knows exactly what President Donald Trump has been saying this entire time, and it's very simple. Negotiations have never been taken off the table for Democrats. It's them that are sitting there throwing a toddler-like temper tantrum with our federal government held hostage because they want negotiations on the front end, because they don't believe it's going to happen on the back end. Well, you just have to take our word for it, because you're not going to get any type of negotiation or deal struck if you guys continue to keep this one up. And it's doing nothing but hurting Americans across our nation. I want you guys to see this. Now we're seeing hardworking federal workers forced to go to food banks and be ashamed because of the Dems. They're keeping our federal government shut down, and it's all for their selfish ways.
Federal workers waiting in long lines at this food bank in Southern Maryland.
I would have never thought in a million years that I would have been in this position to have to go to a food bank.
Denise Blake says she drove over an hour to get here. When she finally arrived, they had run out of food.
We have a cart ready for you out front.
Fortunately, she did not leave empty-handed, but she still faces the harsh reality of not knowing how she's going to feed her family while she's not getting paid during the government shutdown.
I don't want my daughter to see me crying.
Blake's story is like so many others who are waiting to get paid as Congress stalls to pass a new spending plan.
I haven't gotten a paycheck this month, so the free groceries is very important, very helpful.
More than 1 million federal workers are not receiving pay right now. Many missed their first full paycheck Friday, while others will feel the loss early next week, depending on the agency.
And that's the most heartbreaking part of this situation. Dems do not care. They're using American citizens as leverage to get their selfish ways, their selfish deals across the table. It's not going to work. You guys need to grow up and wake up. The folks can see straight through this, and this is exactly why folks are going to walk away from the Democratic Party if you guys don't do something very soon. And again, Schumer's only answers for why he's continuing to hold the federal government hostage is President Donald Trump. That's all he knows is Trump, Trump, Trump. Look at him.
America is in the greatest healthcare crisis we've faced in decades. People are suffering. And what is Donald Trump's response? He jets off to a whole bunch of foreign countries for a week and refuses to sit down with Leader Jeffries and I to address this horrible crisis. Donald Trump jetting off to foreign countries and not discussing health care is his version of Speaker Johnson's shutting down the House for a month. Neither of them want to discuss health care because they know the American people are on one side, but their hard-right MAGA base doesn't want to change health care at all. They're running away. We're not going to let them do that.
The lies, the gaslight, manipulation tactics just aren't fooling anyone. No one in the public, no one in your base is fooled by what you guys keep bringing up, saying healthcare is at stake. No, you guys are trying to fund $1.5 trillion in taxpayer dollars to free healthcare for illegals, and no one's having it. This is not what we voted for, and you guys want to fund all these international projects, the far out, the craziest things you could imagine underneath the sun. A lined up or posed as research, we all know what you're trying to do. You're trying to funnel all that money back into the United States, into the pockets of these Democratic politicians, and it's just not happening. And I think Speaker Mike Johnson said it best when he said that we're witnessing the end of the Democratic Party as we know it.
What we're witnessing is truly the end of the Democratic Party as we've known it. And even some Democrats are now saying that out loud. You can see it in their interviews. I watched one last night. All this is directly related to the Democrats' shutdown show. Why? Because just like they decided to save their own skin, that they had to endorse the Marxist Mandami in an unprecedented move, they have also decided they had to shut down the government in an unprecedented move. No matter the pain it inflicts upon hardworking American people, they were simply more afraid of the Marxists in their party than they are of voters.
And that right there is exactly why I enjoy Speaker Mike Johnson. He's going to call it straight down the center no matter whose side you're playing for. And folks can see it that this is the real, the raw coming from Speaker Mike Johnson. The Democratic Party as we know it is crumbling, is diminishing. They're falling apart at the seams. And it's because of their selfish ways, holding our federal government hostage and making everyday Americans suffer. And I think we may be getting a new Republican senator very soon, as it looks like the Dems have finally turned their backs on Senator John Fetterman after the way that he's been coming out opposed and calling out the Dems for their very selfish tactics. Take a look at this.
I mean, it's heartbreaking. I mean, as a father with 3 children, if someone had done that to one of my children, it's just how devastating. I mean, this is what I'm saying. I will never understand why it's controversial to round up and deport all of the criminals here that are in our nation right now. And I'm proud to just agree that we need to secure our border. I don't know why these other kinds of things. And if they want to, run me out of the party for these kind of views, I mean, that's really it's up to them. But I'm going to continue.
I know a few people. I can connect you, and I know another party would probably welcome you with open arms.
Wow, folks, Senator John Fetterman looks to be left with no more options. I mean, he may have to join the likes of RFK Jr., Elon Musk, and Tulsi Gabbard walking away from that party, walking across the aisle, because it is very clear to see who has that respect, that love, and that care for our nation and those in it. And I can tell you right now, it's not those on the left. And speaking of those on the left just not having it, we got Hakeem Jeffries continuing to absolutely embarrass himself on national television when he's confronted about his hostage situation and his non-willingness to negotiate an actual deal on the back end.
The problem is inflation is often caused by government spending. Additional government spending is not likely to get it to the point where we are going to see less inflation out there. How do you handle that?
This is not additional government spending.
It is additional government spending. You're looking for another $350 billion of additional government spending over the next 10 years?
That's just with the Obama.
We're actually extending a tax credit that currently exists. And what's interesting is that in one big ugly bill where Republicans raised the debt ceiling by about...
Absolutely embarrassing from Hakeem Jeffries. I mean, you're telling me this man rose all the way to the top in Congress without knowing basic economics, that his inflationary demands will definitely add to our deficit? You're not serious right now. Hakeem Jeffries has lost it. No one's buying this charade that you're putting up, and Mike Johnson is serving it up. The simplest solution on the Republicans putting a stop to this shutdown. I want you guys to see this.
Now, every Republican in Congress wants to stop this madness desperately. And we have voted many times, over a dozen times, collectively 13 times, to reopen the government, to keep it open and reopen it once the Democrats closed it. But here's the very simple and important fact that no one should forget. We have no ability. Republicans do not have the ability to do this on our own. It's a simple math problem. We need Democrats to help. You need 60 votes in the Senate. We only have 53 Republicans. The Democrats are the ones voting repeatedly to shut down the government. But they're not opening it back up. They spent most of their time trying to distract the American people from the very simple truth.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. Once again, we're seeing that Hakeem Jeffries, the leader of the Dems, is a bumbling, stumbling mess. He can't even get the words out of his mouth. And that's because he's a bold-faced liar. I mean, this guy just lies, gaslights, and tries to manipulate the public and contort the truth as to what's actually going on, the reality of the situation. When everyone with half a functioning brain brain can see exactly what's happening. There is no one left to blame except for the Democrats. I mean, that is who is holding our federal government hostage, making Americans across our nation suffer, holding them as a leverage to get this deal across the table, but it's just not going to happen. I don't know what it's going to take for them to wisen up and realize that they have to do what they don't want to do sometimes. Go ahead and vote yes to reopen our federal government, and then maybe, just maybe on the back end, you'll get exactly what you're looking for, a little, or maybe even a piece of it. You know, you got to work to compromise or live to compromise, and it just seems like the Dems, Hakeem, Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, just has no sight of what it means to compromise. But guys, definitely hop in that comment section. My question for you today is, do you believe that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries will wisen up and vote and instruct their House Democrats to vote to reopen our federal government? Hop in the comment section, guys. Comments are open. I'm excited to hear what you guys are thinking on this one. And before we get out of here, guys, I want to speak on something that's been weighing very heavy on my heart. First off, issuing an apology out there to all my subscribers, my supporters, and anyone that has been in viewership of your boy RetroStef. My absence this past month has not been for me to have a vacation or the month off, because it's been my birthday. My birthday was this past weekend, but my absence was because my headspace has just not been there. I've been trying to push through it. You know, I usually don't get off into the personal aspect. I like to just bring you guys the raw, the real, the news, and my reaction behind it. But I felt as if I had to speak on it because it just doesn't feel right. You know, me not being here, I feel like I have to bring you guys the real, the raw every single day. And I feel kind of crappy if I'm not able to do so. But I want to key you guys in. I actually did lose my grandfather this past week. And it really did take a toll on me. He was in the hospital for a while throughout this month, and they didn't know if he was going to make it or not. Unfortunately, we did lose him, but heaven gained another angel. And that man, I'll tell you right now, he was a great man. My grandfather raised me up as his own, like I was his son, you know, and he was my first best friend. We did everything together, you name it, from going out and fishing every day with each other to going to work. When I wasn't in school yet, I would go and I would clean the schools. And that's what taught me, you know, just to be disciplined, motivated, and, you know, just have that drive to go and continue every single day. My grandfather was a custodian or a janitor at various schools across the state of Indiana throughout his tenure before he ended up retiring. But I'll tell you what, you know, that really taught me to value every job, no matter if it was considered to be small or big. You know, he took it as serious as someone that was maybe the president. You know, he made sure that his work was able to be stamped off with his name on it, everything that he did. And that's how I aim to live my life. You know, even if some folks don't believe that what I do or my opinions are worth it, I still try to put it out at the best of my ability, at least be professional, because, you know, again, that is the way that I was raised up. But guys, it did take a very big toll on me, and it's been tough. Usually I'm in the gym every day. I'm making dinner every night, and I'm working hard to get these videos out for you guys, but it's been just a little tough. And I just want you guys to pray for me and pray for my family. But I thought I had to let you guys know what's been going on behind the scenes. Like I said, I don't usually do this, but I had to let those who know me the most, you guys, I feel like you're my family at this point. This is the Retro fam. I want to let you guys know exactly what's going on with me. But again, guys, please make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content right here with your boy RetroStef, I'll catch you guys on the next one.